Welcome to Juggling Interviews. This episode is brought to you by eJuggle, the IJ's official online publication, where you can find the latest juggling news, articles, videos, and podcasts, just like this one. If you want to check that out, you can head over to their website at juggle.org/ejuggle, or with the link in the description. This episode is also sponsored by Play Juggling. On their website, you can find high-quality props like balls, clubs, rings, diablos, poise, fire equipments, flower sticks, glow props, and tons more. Head over to playjuggling.com and use my code XavJuggles, XavJuggles10, to get 10% off your next purchase. It's a great way to support me, so thank you a lot, Play Juggling. Now let's get to the episode. So hi guys, welcome back to Juggling Interviews. Today I'm super happy to receive Moritz Rosner and Julian Kloos. How are you doing, you guys?
Hello. Thanks for inviting us.
We're good. Thank you.
That's crazy. Like, you two have been on the roll lately, and I just cannot afford to not have you guys on the podcast. You have been so inspiring, and we got to get to know more about you two. So as the introduction questions, can I talk about you both? It's my first time doing a two people episode, so I think this is going to be interesting. We can start with the Julian, if you want to talk to us about how you started with the juggling and how did you get introduced to juggling?
Yeah, I started probably just over like 10 years ago, maybe in a youth circus. Just tried out all different disciplines you could do and got really stuck on juggling. And when I started doing it more and more and started going into conventions and everything, I met and I saw all those bigger, better jugglers who I've only known from the internet before. That just really motivated me. And it just kind of went on from there, got more and more, became more obsessed with it. And then this whole like dream started with like, I want to do this professionally. I want to do this on stage. I want to just do this for the rest of my life.
Wow. Like, but wait, how did you start like 10 years ago? Did you remember like seeing someone do it or like scrolling and see it online?
Yeah. Well, we had coaches who would, in the youth circus, just teach us all different kinds of styles of artistic disciplines that you can do in a circus. And once I've learned how to juggle and I started watching other performers in general in a circus or theater shows or whatever, I always noticed, I like looked at the jugglers in particular and I remembered the tricks they were doing and the sequences they were making and tried to recreate them. Obviously I couldn't, but that would just get really stuck in my head, and I had to I had to do it as well.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, we'll talk about that later. I'm super curious to see what kind of tricks inspired you at the beginning. But what about you, Moritz? How did you get introduced to juggling, and how did you start out?
So I started in kind of like a circus kids camp and just learned everything and juggling 3 balls basically. But I never really like picked it up seriously and just had it as a hobby at the side because I was mainly doing breakdance and parkour, free running. And in 2017, I broke my kneecap while doing parkour, and therefore I could basically only stand and kind of sit and lay down. So I was like, damn, what should I do next? Or what should I do in general? So I picked up juggling again, and I went to some conventions and saw better jugglers, and same as Julian, I just got like super motivated and inspired by all those great jugglers who posted stuff online and that I just saw on the conventions, and then
What age did you get to the kids camp for a circus?
I think at 8, roughly.
And how old are you guys? I think like you two are super young too.
22 both.
Yeah, 22.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Like you guys are to such a high level. It's insane. Oh yeah. Okay. So talking about your inspirations from the beginning, like you two come from not too far in juggling. Like juggling videos were the thing, were the standards. So did you guys grow up with like watching YouTube for the videos and like go to the popular conventions and everything? Yeah. And did you have someone in common and someone that really inspired you both?
Totally. Like especially at the beginning, so many jugglers. Like in the early days for me it was Lauge definitely, Howard, Avent, uh, and like so many other guys. But these are my main motivations. Then it was Spencer. Now it is mostly Kaito and Masahiro. So it changed over the years, but there are just so many great jugglers.
Same for me. I don't know if you mentioned Ofik.
Oh yeah, often.
Anthony
yeah.
Gatto, of course, and
Sure. Yeah.
I feel like it always came in different phases. Like you would get stuck on one juggler and their specific style and what they are focusing on mostly, and then you just start watching all of it that you can find, and then you find yourself into someone else's style and someone else's juggling videos, and then you get stuck on there, and it's sometimes it comes back in cycles. Like every 2 years, you get stuck on a Lauge video, and you're like, "Oh, this is so good."
Even
Or as
nowadays,
soon
like
as Lewis drops another documentary.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
of course.
all the Europeans documentary, like even the ones with Ivan, the one with Hovard, like even the improving
so-
video from Lauge, like I've watched them because you somewhat get introduced to it, and then you get into the whole cycle of all the videos people made back in the day. But like sometimes you revisit them and you're like, wow, this is still like super relevant to this day. Like there's so many tricks
Yeah.
from 10 years ago that are still like crazy impressive and like unmatched to this
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
It's absolutely insane. And do
What
you
I
have-
found
yes.
Yeah, sorry. What I found super nice was because the juggling community, I mean, it's huge. There's so many people who are into it, but then it's also very accessible. You go to a very, very big convention, like all the big international conventions, you can meet all your heroes, like in person. They're actually there. And when I went to my first EJC, for example, I could literally watch
Yeah.
all the different jugglers who I grew up just watching on videos and I tried to learn from, and I could just sit there and enjoy the view.
It's crazy,
That's
right?
that's
'Cause
really motivating as a kid.
you can compare yourself. Like you can compare juggling to other sports. Like when would you ever see like all the main like heads of like football or like
Yeah.
of basketball in the same
Exactly.
room just having fun together? I feel like it's such an open community. It's so weird to see like all the top ones at the same place at the same time, the same festival. It's not even like to compete. So I mean, sometimes it's for like a WJF, but still like fun together. Like versus like there's more. I feel like there's more of a battle between like the top heads in like basketball and anything. Like I don't know. Maybe I'm not super aware of like team sports like that, but I would imagine that there's not like many events where there's like Cristiano Ronaldo, Messi, Mbappe just hanging around eating together.
Exactly.
But that's what happens at EJC. Like yo, like EJC, freaking IJA, the WJF events. People just go eat together. They're like best friends. Even the
Yeah.
top ones to the beginners, and like it felt surreal. Like at the first festival. I saw like Zach McAllister as my first juggler. Like the first juggler I witnessed with my eyes was Zach McAllister, and it was so weird that I could like talk to him during the whole festival afterwards. It feels like surreal for us jugglers. But yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have like a particular trick or aesthetic that impresses you when you were younger, like 10 years ago, watching these
This
videos?
also changed so much for me.
Yeah.
Because yeah, I don't know, in the beginning I kind of enjoyed nearly everything that was kind of related to technical juggling. Mostly clubs for me. That's what stick. Like it still is technical juggling in numbers, but yeah, over the years I kind of liked clean technique more and more. That's what I really enjoy now. Now what we mostly follow with Fusion is the kind of creative technical style. So pushing really, really hard tricks, but kind of making them more interesting by putting creative aspects into it. So it's more of like really finding juggling tricks.
How about you,
Yeah.
Julian?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I think also in the beginning, just I thought everything was impressive. Like everything related to harder juggling and with harder everything that I couldn't do, which was, you know, right at the
Everything.
beginning. Yeah, exactly. Right at
Yeah.
the beginning, I thought everything was cool. Every trick was nice, and I wanted to watch and learn or try all of it. I remember it took quite some time for me to like notice or figure out that pirouettes were a thing, actually. Like also for my own training, I remember I was already working on 5 clubs, just the basics, but I've started like flashing and getting a few more catches. And I've never done pirouettes with anything, not even like 3 balls and just throwing one up doing a pirouette. I just didn't know that was a thing. So going to a convention, seeing all the good jugglers doing like crazy pirouette tricks and 720s and whatever, I was like, okay, now I need to figure this out. And so I think I found that very impressive. But then, yeah, everything in general, numbers looks great. So much going on in the air and amazing.
But wait, you've been inspired by Lage, but you didn't know about pirouettes?
Yeah. I mean, that was that was when I found out Lauge videos.
Okay, I
Obviously,
see.
I knew about, but that was just before. I wasn't into all the
Okay.
videos yet, not as much. I just didn't know that much, and yeah, I remember when I started. Like I just started juggling. I wanted to watch some videos on YouTube, and I mean YouTube was obviously a thing, but there wasn't as much yet, I'd say. And if you just put in like best jugglers in the world, there would be these random compilations
Mm.
of people doing like 3 ball tricks or something at a Got Talent on TV or something, and it wouldn't be like very technical, high level juggling videos produced by professional or really good jugglers. So you couldn't see the mainstream, or I couldn't find the like mainstream and regular juggling tricks that people were doing yet.
Well, yeah, but like nowadays, I think it's crazy because I think you two are more and more mixing the technical with the mainstream. Like you guys are finding ways to mix like the visual aspects and even like the way you present your content. It's like really polished, and I cannot imagine like even a single juggler or even a duo of juggler that do something so clean and so like consistent than you guys. And I think like the new generation of jugglers that are gonna see the mainstream stuff, it's gonna be like the actual professional jugglers that go into festivals and everything. That's not the solo acts you see on TV or like the kind of like the humor shows. Because I totally get what you say, Julian. Like you look on YouTube, the most popular videos are like either like comedy acts or random compilation,
Yeah.
and then somewhat you see like a 1 second of like Anthony Gatto. You're like, okay, that's real juggling. Like I mean, not
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, everything is real juggling, but you're like that's like really impressive. That's what I was looking for. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, I think like in the newer generation, it's just gonna, especially everything's like mostly online, social media. So people are surely gonna get introduced to juggling with like your guys' content, and you've been like making stuff for like non-jugglers. Like it's just crazy how like easy it is to pick up what you guys are doing, even though it's like super high technique. And I see it like by myself. I show it to people. I show it to friends, and usually they get like a big interrogation point on their face, and they don't get if it's hard or not. But then I show you
Yeah.
your stuff, and like we clearly see everything going on, and like I think it's such a cool way to make it more accessible. It feels like less of a niche to do like super high technical juggling. Now it's like more accessible, and
That's great.
yeah, I think that's a big props to you guys.
Thank you. Actually, that's exactly what our goal and what our mission behind the Fusion social media pages is to just show it to people, like not only the jugglers, but to a larger audience and show how juggling can be. And it's amazing that this kind of, I don't know,
Works out.
yeah, that it works
Yeah.
out.
Mm-hmm. But I think it's going pretty smoothly. I think it's a nice transition between like what we used to see versus like the mainstream stuff back in the days. And yeah, also like you've been going on the roll recently with Luca also doing like pushing more of the content and more maybe of the making people walk through your day-to-day life. And I see like in your stories like explaining what kind of routines you guys have, like when you train and when you do what you do on your off days, how you travel. So I think it's really cool to see like an insight of like people that travel internationally for juggling is like, because we don't really get to see what kind of lifestyle that is. I feel like not a lot of people know what kind of job jugglers actually have instead of just juggling on stage,
Sure.
right? We
Yeah.
don't know what's the
That's why we
backstage.
Exactly. Yeah, that's why we kind of share insights. Um, to also change the perspective, because I think when people don't know anything about it, they would generally think less about it than it actually is.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say about juggling in general, but also the lifestyle that comes with it and everything around it. Um, it's so much nicer than people who've never heard about it would generally think.
Yeah, and also I think it's so cool the way it's like reshaping maybe the image of juggling in people's mind. Like people,
Mm.
like the first thing that comes to mind when you think of juggling is like the clown music and like just juggling three ball clowns. It's just like nothing serious, and like I think
We
slowly
want to say
breaking the
that.
image and like you guys are not joking like on the post. Like it's just like straight tricks and like everything is so nice, so smooth, and like big music. So you actually get like to see how like wow juggling can be even as a lifestyle. Like when you see the kind of even if someone sees the live shows, like there's no way, there's not a second in mind when you think like, oh, these guys are just like doing it for fun, just for whatever. Like you see like the work, and you actually, it's like the Olympics, right? You never like mock someone that do like running because you know how like the top runners in the Olympics look like. So you don't have the image of like running as goofy or like non-serious,
Yeah,
because
that's true.
we do
Yeah.
see like the technical aspect in the Olympics and in the popular uh, beliefs. But now like juggling, if it gets more and more introduced to people in like the actual big way, the actual technique and not the funny side or like the joking, the non-serious side. Even though it's always fun to have some fun in juggling, I think it's still an art.
Sure.
It's
Yeah.
an art, and you can like always have fun with it and promote humor and everything. But just the unseriousness of everyone's consciousness on juggling I think is gonna get breaking down more and more as we see like the, the kind of content people have been doing recently.
Mm.
And
True.
also, I'm really interested. Maybe not a lot of people know that, but how have you guys met each other the first time, and how did that idea of doing like the Fusion Showteam start?
So we also met at the juggling convention.
Yeah.
We are quite lucky to live in Germany for that because there's so many here. It's just amazing. And we met in 2018 at the juggling convention near Stuttgart. And over the years, we kind of sent tricks back and forth and just progressed together. And in 2022, we got a request to perform in the Cascade of Stars at the IJA. And therefore, we kind of just pushed together and created a show for that. And
Yeah.
there we seen that we work like our work together is just perfect, and we come along super nice, and therefore it just kind of evolved pretty naturally, and in I don't know, over the years it just got bigger and bigger, and then we created the Fusion Showteam. And yeah, anything to
Yeah.
add?
It's funny to think about, because I remember I had a passing video of me with a friend back
Oh
home
yeah,
from my youth circus in my story on Instagram. Because we didn't used to live very close. It was like a 3.5, 4 hour car drive. And obviously before 2022 it was a lockdown, so conventions weren't really a thing. We didn't really meet up or anything. So we didn't see each other much in person, only online and WhatsApp and sending tricks, like you said. And I had this clip of me passing in my story, and he replied to that story saying like, yeah, we should pass at some point. And that kind of got everything rolling about
yeah,
us saying like, okay, yeah, I'll go down for a weekend to see him and train together just for fun. And then pretty much right afterwards, there was this request from the IJA. So we're like, okay, let's create a show. Let's see how that goes. And now looking back on that, seeing how everything evolved just from there, from me juggling in my youth circus with a friend,
It's
and
crazy, right?
him being like, yeah, let's try that as well. It was really funny.
that's insane. Yeah.
Do you think at the beginning of the duo, the mindset were like super similar, and like did you guys have the same vision, or was there some compromise to do on each side?
What would you say?
I think in general it was always the same vision, but also the vision obviously evolved together over time. Like it was not when we first spoke about creating the Fusion Showteam, there weren't exactly the same goals in mind that we would have now, for example, because just over time things come and go. And I think right in the beginning, no, not really. Yeah, I'd say just pushed each other towards a similar direction and goals.
Also, luckily, we have the same taste in art and juggling and
Yeah.
shows. Basically, mostly everything. That's why it's super easy to work together and create stuff, because if one of us enjoys it, the other most likely enjoys it as well. And I would say in the last 1.5 years, especially, it got way more serious, and our goals just skyrocketed to like quite ambitious stuff. And therefore, Julian also moved to the town next to me, and now we can practice every day together and just work on Fusion 24/7.
Mm-hmm. And like, how do you guys balance your own like professional juggling career, and how do you guys mix it together? Do you think it's something that takes away from the duo, or do you think that's something that uplifts the duo to boost yourself on your own path?
Balance it with like life in general, or
I mean, the way like do you have like personal goal that you want to do that maybe takes up sometimes in the practice sessions together, or is there like some personal achievements you want to get, so that you have to like balance the amount of time you two practice together versus your own goals? And do you think that's something that the duo suffers from, or do you think that's a good thing that each other have like their own goals and bring the whole thing together, the whole duo up?
Yeah. I think the duo and Fusion in general for us both is always the priority. So all goals that we individually have aside, they come with us both pushing the duo anyways. So I don't have a feeling that it takes away from anything. It rather adds to the personal goals and achievements just by us both pushing Fusion together.
for example, lately I've been filming the Clubs 25 video, which is coming up soon on YouTube. That, for example, was something I would film individually, and there we kind of had to balance it out, but our duo stuff always, I don't know, it's always good for our duo stuff if our solo stuff is good. So
Yeah.
it kind of benefits each other anyway. But yeah, as Julian said, our duo work is always the number one priority. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like, how does it feel? Because it's like you two are you're a duo, but you're two different person. Like every time you get into a practice session, doesn't mean that either Julian or Moritz gets more energy than the other one, right? So you have to make up maybe for someone that's like maybe tired or injured or anything. And how do you guys make up and still hold the same? Or actually, is it the same amount of effort you put every session, even though you're hurt or like you're more tired? And how do you guys like push each other up when it's lower times or slower times?
I would say we rely on each other, that the other person always gives 100%, and therefore we really respect the things that come from the other person, because we know there usually is just it's just 100%. There's not more to do, and also communication is like the biggest thing there is between people, and I think we can communicate super good, and that's why we have the success we have as a duo.
Yeah. And I'd say we're now, since I've moved down here beginning this year, and we can go to practice together like every day. It's good to have this consistency, because then it doesn't matter if one of us is a bit more tired one day or the other one is a bit more tired the next day, because if we're going to do this every day, every week, all the time, in the long run, it's totally okay. Back when I didn't used to live here and I would only come to train together for like a weekend every few weeks, we knew, okay, we have these like 3 days now.
Mm-hmm.
Everything needs to work out. We both need to be in perfect shape.
The sessions are horrendous.
The sessions were horrendous. They were so long. We tried to fit in everything together to progress as much as possible. And then 3 days later, we're off to not see each other for a few weeks, and then
Ready for the hospital.
yeah,
That was-
exactly. So the
It's-
progress always went down again afterwards, and then we tried to push as high as possible, and then it went down again. And now, if one day we don't have good training sessions or whatever, everybody has bad days. We're not too mad or sad about it because we go back the next day anyways.
Yeah, also besides communication and the points you talked about, being rational and analytical as much as possible is super helpful for progressing, especially together.
It also shows that consistency is always the key. Like, if you two try to make up, like, if you two did like a sessions of 10 hours because you didn't see each other for weeks, doesn't mean that the last 6 hours are that much better than the first 4. But if you see each other every day, and I know you guys train more than like 3 or 4 hours. I've seen the crazy timeline. You guys post a story like it's midday, and then you're like, oh, we're finally done with practice. It's like 8 hours later. We're like, what?
Yeah.
So I know you guys do a bunch every day, but it still shows that consistency is like really the key. And like, I do get the point that if you guys feel down on one day, doesn't like one bad day in a week or 2 bad days in a week doesn't mean that the 5 others or the 4 others are gonna be terrible. And the progress has been like crazy and crazy. We can like visually see how much you guys like. I feel like it's also like just I feel like it's visually. Feels like you two are suited for your juggling. I would certainly imagine that you're so used to every throw Moritz throw, and Moritz, you're probably very used to all the throws Julian do. So like, it must be such a crazy feeling to like be compatible at some point because you see each other every day. It's almost like you know exactly in what spot you're gonna throw. And like,
It is, yeah.
it's so weird because
There's just no other person in the whole world I could pass better with. It's because when Julian is throwing, I can already, if he throws kind of weirdly, I know what the next throws are gonna look like. Or if he struggles, I know how he's gonna throw. It's super crazy, yeah.
That's like
That is not because my throws always come perfect. It's just because he knows how they're going to come.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me because like I think even with one person juggling, they don't even know the next throw they're gonna do. So I can't even imagine 4 arms and like you know exactly how each throw is gonna be, and like, oh, it's insane to me. Like it feels like the 2 kind of styles of juggling are combining in one, and like how do you guys go with the like nowadays you have this challenge where you want to push to 17 clubs together, and
Yes.
it must be so different than the stuff you do in shows. And so how do you guys like put yourself into maybe the physical state or like the mind state to be ready to perform at such a high level and like trust each other and like perform at the highest level you can? And how does practice sessions look like? And do you ever like get pissed at the fact you're not performing as well as you'd think, or like because you're achieving something that hasn't been done before? It's 2 more than the world record, so it must be hard to like trust every single moment and like not give up on such a high dream. And you also have to trust the other one that they're gonna do their 100% and like still be there, and like you two should like aim at the same goal and put the same effort. So yeah, how do you guys manage to stay consistent, like keep motivation at something so high level and like that hasn't been done before?
I would say what's super helpful is that we can hype each other like just perfectly, and we like the kind of chemistry we have between us is just hyping us so much, and we talk a lot about our goals and recap our sessions, what went good, what went like wrong, or what could be better, and how should we fix it, how should we correct it. And as I said, communication and being as analytical and rational as possible always helps us. But what is really frustrating with this high level numbers stuff we're doing is that it's really dependent on the day, and at some days just, some throws are just coming perfect, and at other days they're just shit, and this fluctuation is just super hard to deal with, and I feel like you should always kind of zoom out and see the long-term progress, and then
Yeah.
it always helps. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where the consistency is good again, because
Exactly.
if we could only do those sessions once every few
Yeah.
weeks or something, we'd be really pissed if one
Yeah.
time it didn't work out and we're like, okay, now we have to wait ages to try again. And now we're like, okay, we recover from this, and when we're fit and healthy again, we go for it again, as long as it needs to.
And also,
So for the 17 club mission in particular, our way to go for it is to break the ultimate goal, the 17 club passing flash, down in like super small stuff. Like you can, by the way, follow it on our Fusion Instagram page, for example. Therefore, we just share everything on the journey. And we just started with 14 clubs, and now we're on to 15 clubs, and just even breaking down the lower numbers. So for 15, Julian's throwing 8 to me, and we're just perfecting this one before we move on to the next step. So we really break down the higher goal into tiny steps we can take off.
yeah, and also like especially flashes, they're really frustrating because it's not like it's not like a catch goal. Like if someone wants to do like 50 catches of 7 club, they can still feel the progress when they're at like 41 and almost get to it. But like a flash, it's either you do it or you don't. Like either you, it can still be,
Yeah.
it can still be calculated in catches. Like oh, we got like 7 catches out of 17, and like we can like upgrade every time, but it still feels like it's not done. Like you're not close. Like,
True.
and in my small experience of like trying to flash 7 clubs, it's the worst journey of all time. Just having to like, you have to trust yourself that maybe the next attempt is it, and like maybe, and also something, maybe it's just the way I live it, but the only times I passed, there's always this feeling of like, oh, I just done like so well, I hope the other don't drop, and like I can't imagine like such a high goal. Like I'm just projecting myself at like, imagine the one attempt with 17 where like either one of you two do the perfect throws, you catch everything, and you like just bump the last one and falls. How do you not discourage yourself?
Yeah, we've had attempts like this where like both basically caught everything, and then there's this one club that slips out or whatever. And obviously not with 17, but
yeah. Yeah, that's insane. And how does a training session look like? Is it nowadays, since you said the fusion's the priority, is it always a duo training session like for most of the hours you're there? Or how do you break up? Do you do like solo warming up and then come together, or walk me through that?
Yeah. So we mostly warm up our bodies with like resistance bands and some bodyweight exercises. Then we go into a solo practice, which is mostly between 1 hour 15 and 1 hour 30. And we try to keep it short so we still have energy left for the passing. In passing, depending on what we do, sometimes we do like really intense 1 count number of sessions for the mission. Then it can go up to 1.5 hours or even more. Most of the times we try to keep it a bit shorter, and after that we either film some stuff, or at the moment we have an act creation going on. Then we're doing this. So it's mostly the priority is getting warm and getting our juggling good, having a good passing session, and after that we do some fusion projects.
And like, how does the base pattern look like? Do you like, because I know certain people getting to a certain level, like they skip like doing 3 clubs if they want to try like a 7 club session. And do you guys like already start with like a base 8 or 10 clubs passing? How is like the warm up for a duo that's such a high performance like this?
So we start with 9 mostly.
Yeah, when we're passing together, we start with 9. But that is also because we've just come out of a long and intense. Well, now it feels long to us. Before we used to do our solo sessions much longer. But now if we do 1.5 hours of solo juggling, then we're warm enough to like go for higher numbers passing straight away. But then it's also, I mean, every juggler knows that it's also super important to have the basics set properly and perfectly, or as perfect as possible, so you can move up and you just get a feeling for it much quicker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also I do see in every answer I get from you, like the main the main focus is always cleanliness and like quality and technique, and I think that's really revealing in the way we see your techniques in the videos. Like everything's such at the same level, because I would guess that if we take two random jugglers and make them juggle together, there's probably gonna be height difference and like some weird timings and no. So I do like we see visually we can see the translation between like cleanliness in practice to cleanliness in results. Even though you're doing high performance, it's still like it's even better to see a super high difficulty trick done so well and clean, and it almost feels easy for you two, versus like maybe if you do a twin version of your duo, if you don't focus on cleanliness, we'd see like how much it feels like a struggle to like keep up with each other and everything.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
how do you guys keep up with cleanliness? Do you always like comment? Because I've seen people juggling like high numbers together and they're always shouting like, okay, too short now, taller, no this, or at this point, is it like just natural? You don't even have to say comments to each other. How do you guys keep up with the duo as you're juggling to keep the cleanliness perfect?
I have to say with numbers, so our priority is always like before it's kind of getting the technique right, but with numbers it's most of the time just go for it and get it, because the technique has to be there somehow if it's not retried anyway. But yeah, for numbers it's most of the time we call it catching mode, and then we're just trying to get everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, for our normal practice, like for example the 2 count, we rely on feedback like all of the time. So as much feedback and as much detail as possible to the feedback. That's kind of our way of progressing, and that's what works best for us.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And because you mentioned the height difference, for example, with the throws, when we just started off, my base patterns and everything, they used to be much lower than Moritz. Just my technique, naturally, it felt easier for me if I did it rather low and more fast, whereas he would have them just, for example, basic 5 club cascade. His 5 clubs were much higher than mine. So for passing, if you have to combine those, that's really hard because you have like a timing difference, and it just makes the passing much harder as well for us. So we both, yeah, I'd say, we adapted and compromised to that over time. We decided, or we figured, okay, it will be easier for us if our juggling is rather the same, and especially the passes and everything. If that is as clean and as the same height as possible, it's just an easier time for us. So we focused on that more, and over time it just kind of moved into there.
And also just by practicing together, also the solo work, I can just see Julian and my techniques are just merging, and we basically have the same technique right now. And if you compare it to the technique we had like 2 years ago, it was completely different.
Yeah.
So absolutely. That's super interesting to see as well.
And also, you guys have done like a lot of work with the Jonglissimo lately, like being a group of 4. And how different is that compared to a duo? Does it feel like a big jump? Like especially you had to prepare like something super tight for America's Got Talent, which I do want to talk about. I think that's such a unique experience for a group of jugglers to go there, especially a four member juggling group. It's insane. So how do you guys come up with stuff with 4 people, and how do you not get messed up in all the different throws, all the different mistakes? Because one have to make up the mistake for the other, then you throw to the like 3rd person, but then the 2nd person is gonna receive the. I feel like everything's there's so many room for mistake, and it feels like impossible to catch up. But how did you guys manage to have something clean and ready for the show?
So I feel like with 4-person, or at least, I think, yeah, at AGT we were 6. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why, why am I unsure? Um, so with more people, you have the benefit that you don't have to pull off that crazy tricks, because just the mass of juggling clubs and the synchronicity, it just looks way better than, for example, a duo, just because it's more, and therefore you can do easier stuff that looks better. That's definitely a benefit. Also, we didn't really do much. I think we did nothing that included all of us together. It was mostly just pairs that juggle together. So if we translate it to a duo, I feel like it's not that much harder actually to juggle in a bigger group if you do it in pairs like we did.
Yeah.
But I have to say our routine was still quite hard for such a big stage.
Oh, definitely.
But even like
I had quite a bit of food poisoning right before we flew to America. So we actually canceled the flight for me, and Julian stayed with me in a hotel because I could just, I don't know, lay on the ground and do nothing.
Yeah.
That was so bad. But yeah, we kind of managed to do it.
But I don't know, even the Instagram clips you put together, like that's juggling with 4 people, right? It's not duos. Like
Yeah.
you guys
Yeah,
put up some records.
Yeah.
That's insane, and like especially for these kind of moments.
The one where we juggled like loads of clubs to like 30 plus
Yeah,
clubs.
Yeah.
I think for that it's easy when, or like, no, it's obviously not easy like that, but it's easier if you have a certain position that you are either used to or that you've done a few times before, or that kind of suits your passing and skill level. And then you have this one set position, and you know the person that's throwing to you, and you know the person you're throwing to, and that's the only thing you worry and care about. You're not looking or thinking about what person 3 is throwing to person number 4. You're kind of in your own space, in your own world, and then it still feels like passing with 3 people. It's a bigger chain that involves much more people, and there's just much more going on. And it's easier to get distracted if you're looking up. You'd focus on your own throws, but then you look around and there's so much going on. You really need to stay focused for that. If you can do that, I think if you have a position that suits you and your skill level, it's very doable.
Also, it feels like a shift in juggling technique, juggling to yourself versus like having to throw like feet away. Like the 30 plus clubs was like, I don't know, physically it seems like such a big distance between 1 and 6.
Yeah, that was huge actually. Yeah,
true.
It feels like absolutely weird, like to throw like further, because you're used to throwing in front of you, or like for the flashes you're throwing behind and 1 in front, but like now you have to throw like 5-person in front. Seems like
that's actually the only thing.
What?
Yeah, that's the only thing I dislike about 2-count passing. That's like super one-sided. So we pushed 2-count passing for 1 year now, and my whole the right side of my back is super well developed, whereas the left side of my back is like not really that much developed. And you can, if I have like a tight shirt on, you can see the difference. Yeah. Although I'm really working on my left side.
Wow.
Just because we pass so much, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. At least our mission is in 1 count, so it is kind of even. That's good.
And also like because I think Kaito's record was with 15 was in front. The 2 were facing each other, and you 2 are doing front and back. So how do you think it's an easier approach, or you guys are just used to do more numbers like in this way?
That's a number 1 question we get.
Yeah. I actually don't remember how we really started that.
it's actually a
Like there
fun
had to
starting
be
point.
a point where we're like, okay, from now on, if we do one count, we do it this way.
Yeah, the fun starting point was we did two count passing, and where like whenever we tried one count passing in front to front, we just couldn't do it at all. So we never practiced it because it was just no fun at all. At one point, I thought back to front, or just we experimented with different angles because for our social media posts we always try to get new things. So we started up with back to front passing, and because in the beginning we were more solo jugglers than we were passers. So because the clubs are coming like in a solo position, it was a natural catching position for us and
Yeah.
throwing position. So we kind of worked on it because we thought it just looks cool and is fun and is more natural catch for us. And we put more and more work into it and worked ourselves up. And now we can see benefits from it in terms of spacing because, for example, with the 17, Julian can throw his 9 clubs way higher, so in quin spins, than I'm throwing my 8 clubs. So between the 9 and the 8, there is realistically between 1 and 2 meters of space. So, of course, like just at the peak, but that's where it mostly collides when you do front to front.
If you look at Kaito's and Kento's 15 clubs, the
It's the
clubs
same.
just they merge
Yeah.
into each other, doing it front to front. And if we try that, it would be like a massive collision. If we can,
Yeah.
if I turn around, I can kind of throw over it, and
Mhm.
Moritz throws under it, and that makes it easier for us space-wise. And then, like Moritz said, the catching is a big part, and especially catching numbers where you just it feels like the clubs keep coming, it doesn't
Yeah.
stop. And then catching everything like this, you're not used to that at all, especially both-sided. If we do two count passing, the left hand is catching like this all the time, but the right hand never does it. And if you've done some numbers with clubs before, you're more used to catching them this way, and therefore it's easier for us.
Yeah, but it's super difficult even just in a regular position to hold four and accurately like catch a fourth one
Yeah.
or throw a fourth one.
Exactly.
So I can't even imagine like
Yeah,
who's
that's
catching the
that's
9?
where I'm struggling right now, especially.
Who's gonna
Like
catch the 9?
he's done so much. He's going to catch the 9.
Yeah, so just imagine having to catch like not even your throw, like a 9th club just
Yeah.
from someone else and under another angle.
Yeah.
But also throwing 9 clubs in quins. So I'm not even sure which job is harder.
I think
It's just
yeah.
insane.
I think it's we can really split it off. The throwing is much harder with the 9 clubs, and the catching is much harder with the 9 clubs. So one
Yeah.
of us is doing one each.
Yeah.
So spread out even. Yeah.
And also
Yeah, I mean, like we talked about all the like points why it's easier for us, but then also there's things like that make it harder in back to front. We just kind of committed to this being our approach. But then, for example, I don't see Moritz. I don't know where he is exactly. Of course, he can kind of position himself to wherever he needs to be, but I'm kind of throwing into nothing. And then also because the clubs come from behind me, I don't see them the entire time they're in the air. They like there's a point where they kind of appear in my field of vision, and then they're already on their way down, so I don't have much time spotting
to
them and then
react
catching
like
them.
quickly.
It's like really fast that I have to react to it. So he needs to throw like really precise, and yeah, those are things that make it harder for us as well.
Also, right now we're really facing the problem that as soon as Julian spots clubs, they're coming from the back, and therefore he kind of leans a bit to the back. And because of this, the last throws he's thrown, they're just going way more to the
Further.
back,
Yeah,
and therefore crashing into the clubs.
yeah. Either they're
and the other
crashing or
clubs.
you're catching all of them in here, and then there's 2 clubs just
Yeah.
sailing away.
Oh, wow. But even like it's
Yeah.
crazy when you think about 17, you split it in 2. It's like solo numbers, like impressive numbers. Like doing 9 club solo is like world record level, and doing 8 club is like high end level. So I cannot even imagine doing that together, combining both a 9 and an 8 club flash. It's
Yeah,
insane.
we talked a lot about if even possible.
Yeah.
And we had like the discussions when we were in LA for America's Got Talent, between the two of us, and we really discussed like what we should do exactly, and if it is possible, then we approached Luca, and his first reaction was like, I don't know exactly, but he was like, wait, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is understandable, but yeah,
Yeah.
we worked a lot on it since summer, and we think it's possible now. Yeah.
And also, like, it's a big thing to announce it to people because you show it as a goal, so now everyone expecting
Yeah.
it, and it's not even to put pressure.
Yeah.
Like, it's just the fact that you're ready to approach that challenge is super like respectable as itself. But I do think with the amount of effort and the amount of attention you put to technique and how much you want to push yourselves, like we're really having stars in the eyes. Like we have no doubt that if a duo can do it, it's like yours. Or even like I don't know if you guys thought about it, but you think Kaito or Kento is gonna think about doing their own 17 in the meanwhile?
I feel like they really have struggled with catching, because they both are like individually, they're just insanely good jugglers, and
Yeah.
numbers wise, like on the paper, they're the best numbers clubs juggler, numbers passers there are at the moment, because they are holding the 15 club passing flash world record, and they
did 16
for half a circle. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So they're definitely the best numbers passers at the moment with clubs, but still, I met Kaito and his hands are like super small, like especially compared to mine. When he caught 9 clubs, he like put 4 of them under here, caught the last one. It's super hard to get the time with 17 to do that. And I'm not sure. I feel like if they would really commit to it, they could do it as well.
Yes.
But just the pure strength needed, it's just insane, and they would have to invest a lot of time as well.
Yeah. I mean, we're not nearly where we need to be for 17 to really just go for it properly. There's not enough strength, speed, skill. Like I haven't done 9 clubs before. I've not flashed 9 clubs like he has, but I haven't. So he knows how to catch them. I don't know how to throw them. And same with the 8, he would have to do 8 clubs from his weak hand, from the left, to start with the left. So they're not the throws I'm getting aren't coming as like easy and good as if he was throwing them from the other side. And yeah, there's so much we need to work on in advance before, which is why we were thinking about whether or not to really commit to this being our mission and our kind of journey we wanted to share to the outside as well. Because if, like, there's so much to consider, what if it wasn't possible? You know, that's what we were thinking. And we obviously would only want to announce something and take something outside of just our gym and to social media and wherever, if we really thought we could eventually do it at some point. But then we also thought just the pure challenge, of course, but then it gives us so much room and space to to take people with us on so many different topics and aspects. There's so much to do, and therefore so much to share as well. And it's also a journey that is not over within like 3 weeks. So that is going to take some time. We're not putting time pressure on us. We're not like, we didn't set a specific deadline for us. We just see how fast we get, how far, and then you know, see further, go one step after the other, but then also trying to enjoy the steps individually because they're all fun and nice to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in the end, just sharing and motivating the people to pursue their own dreams and challenges. Yeah.
Yeah, even like, I mean, I don't doubt it, but even like, even if it wouldn't work, I think just the actual fact of documenting is never gonna hurt anyone, or it's just gonna boost your content. Like, people want to be with you, and they understand, like, if at some point it slows down and it seems less and less possible, I mean, it's still like such a crazy journey to be on. Like, I think even just thinking about the content wise, like, let's say a juggler like Kaito would do a series where he's trying more and more to push the 10 club flash, even though he doesn't get a 10 club flash. Just the fact he talks about it makes everyone so interested. So like everyone's gonna be on his mission to like see what's happening. So I don't think it's a bad thing even to have like such a high goal, and I root for y'all, and I can't wait to see the progress over the next months, years, whatever. It's gonna be fun to document. And as we're slowly closing up this episode, do you have a question to ask the next guest?
I would. Do we have two questions now, or should I have the one question?
I mean, you two can do a. You know what? You can do a question each. I think it's fun. It's the first time I have a duo.
Because I don't really have a very specific one yet, so I wouldn't mind if we just take hits.
Okay, let's do
Your
it.
question. What's your question?
Yeah.
My question would be, what are your main sources of inspiration for your juggling in terms of just getting to new tricks or creating stuff? I don't know who you are, but yeah. Also, maybe it's not even a juggler or jugglers. It can also be something beyond juggling, besides juggling.
Yeah,
That'd be super interesting.
I think there's a lot of jugglers that gets inspired with like music and other art styles other than juggling itself. So I do think that's like a really interesting question, and it can go further than what most people might think. So I really like that. Sorry for the interruption, guys. I hope you're liking the episode so far. I noticed that I forgot to ask the other guest's question to Fusion, which was Sarah Noel's question. It was, what's something weird that you've been working on in juggling? And could be a good weird or a bad weird in some ways. Just tell me, what's something weird you've been working on?
Okay, so the weirdest thing we try to practice lately is balance takeover, to have like a small hop from one forehead to the other. Ideally, we wanted to do it while passing, for example, back to front, back to back, with, I don't know, 9 clubs maybe, and then hop it to the other forehead. But this turned out to be pretty insane, so we stopped it and now are going for the 17 club mission, which hopefully is more possible than this.
As we're closing the episode, do you guys want to talk about a last thing I didn't mention in the episode? Do you want to do some promotion of what's happening with you two, and what kind of stuff can people expect from you guys?
Just a short promotion. Our Instagram is Fusion_Showteam, and there we just share the 17 club mission and just cool tricks we come up, and we'd love to see if you follow us there, and just shout out in general. Just feel free to come and talk to us if you need any tricks or help with anything. We're super happy to help out. And I know that in the beginning, when I started juggling, I was a bit afraid of approaching the jugglers I looked up to, because I always felt like I was too bad. But that's like so not true, and we're always happy to help. And yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And also, I'll put everyone's Instagram in the description, the team and everyone's solo stuff. Even we can expect maybe Clubs 2025 to drop in the next couple of days or weeks, depending on when the episode is out. It's probably gonna be out, or it's gonna come out really soon. So it's super hyped to see that. And you two have been teasing a lot of stuff on Instagram lately, so I can't wait to see what you guys come up with. So everyone, look in the description. I think you're never gonna miss out on any of the juggling if you take some time and go on the Fusion Showteam page. I don't think you'll regret your time there. There's crazy tricks, and if you didn't know them, I hope this. See, you two are like if you haven't heard about Fusion Showteam before, I mean, what a gift! What a gift to discover that for the first time. So yeah, so. Thank you two for coming to the episode. It was a really nice conversation. I hope you two liked it as well.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Thank you for hosting it.
Thank you for having us.
And if you guys have a message to the juggling community, what could it be?
let's keep going and enjoy our time and work on and explore whatever style and ideas we come up with. I mean, we've talked about earlier about, for example, Anthony Gatto being the kind of picture for real juggling, but then I want to add there is no like real definition of juggling. Everybody enjoys juggling in their own way, everybody juggles in their own way, and that's the nice thing about it, and that's why we love it so much as well, because there's always something new to explore, there's always something new to learn and see and teach and share, and yeah, let's just all keep going that way.
Let's keep the community as supportive and welcoming as it is today.
Awesome. Thank you guys. I want to say thank you guys for watching till this point in the episode, and have fun juggling. See you in the next episode. See ya.
Bye.